Black men, I think we need you. I think America needs you. Okay? And I know it's unfair after everything this country's done to you to ask you to save it, but I think you're the only people who can. Black men, I think we need you. I think America needs you. Okay? And I know it's unfair after everything this country's done to you to ask you to save it, but I think you're the only people who can. All this stuff going on with Izzy and Palestine, well, someone's got to stop them. And anybody that says something, anytime you get a white guy or even a Jewish dude speaking out about it, they hit them with the racist label, anti-Semitic, stuff like that. Black guys, you can do it. Dude, white guys, white people, they're not gonna jump on the "you're racist" train to black guys. And even if they do, I mean, come on, you can rubber glue that shit, okay? And I'm not saying we need black guys to come at it like Kanye, but we just need you to speak the fucking truth, okay? That we're allowing this to happen. We're enabling the people that are most known for an extreme act of organized evil happening to them. You know, in World War II, those people are doing that to another group of people. All right? And if anyone in this country could speak out about a great evil that everyone is just allowing, just sitting by and denying, it's you. Okay? You guys are the experts on this. You can speak on this without any guilt, without being silenced. All right? Because in America, you guys have the most powerful voice. Okay? You built this country. Okay? Everyone knows it. All right? And granted, you did it mostly against your will, but you fucking did it. Okay? And then you broke the chains of the oppressors. Okay? And we need you guys to take that expertise and show this country that it's being evil again. Okay? That is being just as evil as before. But because it's out of sight, out of mind, we pretend that it's not. Okay? And we need you. I really believe that only you could do it. But because America is racist. Okay? It is. And if you're the one speaking against it, it's going to be conflicted. Okay? But because we need you to weaponize white guilt against these fucking monsters. And I think you could do it. I know it's unfair. Okay? This country, it is yours. You built it and they took it from you. But guys, you've got to be our moral compass, or we're not going to have one. We're going to go completely off the rails on some white devil fucking World War II Third Reich type shit if you guys don't start showing out real loud.
Okay, let me start by saying this. Now, I believe that this is a genuine, heartfelt plea from this individual. I believe that his intentions are in the right place, that he's really trying to be genuine here. However, this is evidence that no one has been paying attention to what foundational Black Americans have been talking about in recent times. Now, I partially addressed this in the two-part series that you could find on my channel, titled Conflicts of a Brother's Keeper, Part 1 and 2, so be sure to check that out after this production. Now, on Part 1 of Conflicts of a Brother's Keeper, we address foundational Black American silence regarding Israel and Palestine. In Part 2, we questioned the idea of a Black and brown coalition, since so many individuals were chastising Black Americans to stand up against Trump's deportation campaign. Now, while I could just tell you to watch Part 1 and Part 2 of Conflicts of a Brother's Keeper for your answers, I will take the time out to attempt to address some of the things this gentleman said while making his plea. So let me begin by saying this. Hello, sir. Now, there's nothing that you said about foundational Black Americans that foundational Black Americans don't already know. See, but what you may not know is that foundational Black Americans' choice to be silent may be due to the fact that they're already preoccupied in a fight within their own homeland. See, there are individuals right inside of the United States that seek to erase or minimize everything you said about us in your plea. There are individuals who look like us, but don't speak from the same scrolls that our American ancestors did. See, now we've come to a place where the children are unaware of who it actually was that helped their mothers and fathers gain an opportunity to achieve the American dream, only for these children to walk around with arrogance and thumb their noses at us because they're under the impression that the glory belongs exclusively to white people such as yourself, and that all we are is nothing but the residue of slaves that can't seem to get it together. See, the Asian community would not have been able to thrive had it not been for the support of foundational Black Americans as well.
For Asian Americans or for African Americans, we probably have one of the worst relationships between any community.
Well, I bet you a lot of Asian Americans too don't, in my experience, don't even realize that if it wasn't for the civil rights movement, there would not be 22 million Asian Americans in this country.
Thank you. What I have been trying to teach the Asian community is like, friends, do you understand that your success, your prosperity, your civil rights that you enjoy right now was paid for with Black blood?
But their children don't know it. The Irish community found no home amongst white society when they first arrived, but Black Americans made sure they were straight. But it was their children who, by and large, turned their backs on foundational Black Americans in order to be accepted into the white oppressor class, where they turned on Black Americans and terrorized them. In the early years of immigration, the poor Irish and Blacks were thrown together. And also that Irish were often referred to as Negroes turned inside out and Negroes as smoked Irish. He went on to say, it was felt that if amalgamation between the races was to happen, it would happen between Irish and Blacks. But ultimately, the Irish made the decision to embrace whiteness, thus becoming part of the system which dominated and oppressed Blacks. See, Black Americans looked out for the Latinos too, but the children of Latino immigrants have forgotten whose community it was that they moved into before they grew in numbers. Many of them have forgotten that it was foundational Black Americans who took them in and accepted them unconditionally, while their parents were staunch believers in mejorando la raza, which basically means use Black people to help us in our struggle, but intermingling is off limits. Now, even the women's liberation movement, now this was spearheaded by white women, and no one was paying attention to what these white women were talking about. It wasn't until they saw fit to ride the coattails of the civil rights movement and solicit the voices of Black women to lend credence to their protest, just to ultimately abandon them after getting what they set out to get. See, now I remember the deafening silence from all of these white feminist groups when a cop flipped a little Black girl over on her head when she was sitting in the desk because she didn't want to give up her cell phone to him. And this was in a classroom, and no one said a mumbling word. And no one said a mumbling word when Philando Castile, when he's a member of the NRA, everybody loves to tote their guns. But when he was unjustly killed by a cop, everybody, I remember this, everyone was waiting on some representative from the NRA to protest their outrage that one of their members, one of their own, would be taken out like that. But once again, crickets. And let's not even talk about reparations. Let's just pretend that Patrick Moynihan never suggested that this country could benefit from a period of benign neglect, where it becomes commonplace to talk around Black issues, but never promise to do a daggone thing. Let's pretend like Black Americans haven't stumped for the Democratic Party like loyal dogs bathed in the Stockholm Syndrome shampoo, just to be tossed into a variety pack called minority, until It's the next election term, at least. See, but everybody wants black people to come to the rescue. You know, yes, I agree. We have a strong voice. This is true. But the reason it became strong is because we had to scream louder and louder because, as a numerical minority, there's a disadvantage to being overshadowed by a numerical majority whose narrative is steeped in oblivion and denial. And the only way to disturb their utopian delusion is to leave the casket open so the world can see what they did to her baby. Shout out to Mamie Chills. So yeah, there's a rich history of the foundation of Black American protests. Yeah, it is very unparalleled. However, this is one of the sentiments that is the reason for why so many foundational Black Americans have chosen to remain silent.
You get a white guy or even a Jewish dude speaking out about it, they hit them with the racist label, anti-Semitic, stuff like that. Black guys, you can do it. Dude, white guys, white people, they're not gonna jump on the you're racist train to black guys. And even if they do, I mean, come on, you can rubber glue that shit, okay?
See, this is a reference to saying, I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. But we aren't in elementary school, my man. And what you're asking a foundation of Black Americans comes with more than just a nanny boo-boo. See, ask Mark Lamont Hill. Ask Nick Cannon. Ask Whoopi Goldberg. Ask Kyrie Irving. But when their livelihoods were threatened and even taken away, this was more than just a situation of rubber and glue. But how many of these non-FBA Palestinian supporters supplemented Mark Lamont Hill's income after he was fired for what he said in support of Palestine? This is more than just rubber and glue. These are people's lives that you're asking them to risk because you're too afraid of being called a pejorative name due to your complexion. And that's why you say Izzy, because you're too afraid to say Israel out of fear of being punished in the algorithm and losing your TikTok page. But what do you think that communicates to foundational Black Americans when a man is clearly showing you that he's afraid to risk it all for himself, but then turns around and asks black people to do it? See, because, I don't know, maybe this is your reasoning.
If anyone in this country could speak out about a great evil that everyone is just allowing, just sitting by and denying, it's you.
So foundational Black Americans should lend their voice to this matter because we are well versed in battling evil that everyone else is denying. Sir, I feel your plea, but something tells me that you have no idea just how ironic that statement actually is.
Overnight, a deadly barrage from Israeli forces lighting up the skies over Gaza.
We have an opportunity to not just offer solidarity in words, but to commit to political action.
Israel versus Palestine.
People keep trying to drag black folks into the situation, making it something that we need to jump behind.
But guys, we have to talk about it.
Ain't nobody helping us. You got 27 million Africans in the Congo, displaced.
It's about humanity.
Firing more than 200 rockets into Israel.
The real land question is between them together and me and you.